Lord, I pray that you will fight my battles. God, keep me from falling for the tricks of the enemy. Be a lamp unto my feet.
The New Jerusalem Bible, read in whole in parts by Tony Burnley.
Glorify your precious name.
This is the general editor's foreword.
And beyond.
The Bible is not a book, but a library, joining together dozens of writings, histories, stories, poetries, and letters. The common factor between them is that they all speak to us of God, revealing His nature, His awesome sovereignty, and His tender love. The Old Testament divides in 3 sections. The histories, including the first 5 books, the Great Law of Israel, showing God's loving guidance and correction of Israel from nomadic beginnings through all the trials and infidelities of the settled civilizations in Palestine. The wisdom books, including the Psalms and the prayer books of Israel, express the collective wisdom of Israel drawn down from God for the practical art of living. The prophetic writings together, warnings and promises of God articulated by prophetic writings, gathered warnings and promises of God articulated by those special messengers who strove to keep Israel faithful for the countries, for the centuries before Christ, and for all the means of God's which forming His people, preparing them for the fulfillment of His purpose in Christ. The New Testament divides in 2 sections. First, they are printed in the 4 Gospels, the records of the message of the good news by Jesus. Then there are assembled letters of Paul and the apostolic figures in the nascent churches of the Mediterranean Christianity, some written earlier than the Gospels, including early Christianity, helping them solve their problems. But this is providing a source of understanding and guidance for every Christian generation. The last book in the Bible, the Revelation of John, sums all up of His vision, deliverance of persecution of a glorious establishment of the reign of God in New Jerusalem. The standard edition of the New Jerusalem Bible is based on the much larger regular edition published first in 1985. Hey, that's when I was born. Yeah. The translation follows. Original Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek text. For the Old Testament, the Hebrew, infrequently Aramaic, provides the basic text. This is supplemented when necessary with Greek text established by the 2 centuries before Christ at Alexandria. Occasionally, double series of verse numbers is given and reflects a different number in Hebrew and as the Greek text. The Greek version provides book is called the Apocrypha, while the supplements to the books here are pointed in italics. In the New Testament, italics are used exclusively to indicate quotations elsewhere from the Bible. Gaps in the text are marked with pokes and it indicates an unintelligible word or incomplete sentence in the original, which scholars have not been able to fill out satisfactorily. Practices in the Old Testament show that passage is considered a gloss, an addition or explanation later to the original text. An equal sign indicates a parallel passage to the same book or simply equals. Parallel lines that denote parallel passage from other books. The work of the many devoted scholars in this Bible they produced called the Biblia de Jerusalem in 1956, collaborators of the first English language of the 1966 version of the New Jerusalem Bible. The writers of the Biblia de Jerusalem and those who combined to produce the regular edition of New Jerusalem Bible in 1985. The grateful reader might spare a prayer of thanks and blessings on them all. The Book of Genesis, the creation of the world. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. Now the earth was formless void. There was darkness over the deep and divine wind sweeping over the waters. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God said light was good, and God divided light from darkness. God called light day, and darkness night. Evening came and morning came the first day. God said, "Let there be a vault through the middle of the ocean of the waters to divide the waters in two," and it was. God made the vault and divided the waters under the vault and the waters above the vault. God called the vault heaven, and evening came and morning came the second day. God said, "Let the water under heaven come into a single mass, and let it dry land appear." And so it was. God called the dry land earth, and the waters, the massive water seas. And God said that it was good. God said, "Let the earth produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants, and fruit trees on earth bearing fruit with their seed inside, each corresponding to its own species." And so it was. The earth produced vegetation, and various kinds of seeds bearing plants, and the fruit trees and the seed inside, each corresponding with its own species. God saw that it was good. Evening came and morning came the third day. God said, "Let there be lights in the vaults of heaven to divide day from night, and let them indicate festivals, days, and years. Let them shine in the vaults of heaven, shine in the earth." And so it was. God made the two great lights, the greater light to govern the day, small light to govern the night, small light to govern the night and the stars. God set them in the vault of heaven to shine on the earth, to govern the day and night, and to divide light from darkness.